Filming for Marvel's Thunderbolts officially wrapped up on June 11, 2024. After a production period that lasted around 107 days, shooting kicked off on February 27, 2024 in Atlanta, Georgia, and continued smoothly without any major interruptions. That kind of uninterrupted schedule is rare these days, especially for a big blockbuster like this with such a packed ensemble cast. The final days of shooting took place in Utah, specifically in Emery County and Grand County. These locations served as the backdrop for some of the movie's more dramatic sequences, including scenes involving Sentry's alter ego, the Void. These outdoor locations likely gave the film a more grounded, expansive feel, something a little different from the usual CGI-heavy Marvel settings. Before that, most of the production was centered at Trailer Studios in Atlanta, which has become Marvel's go-to spot in recent years. That's where they likely filmed a good portion of the indoor, effects-heavy scenes. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who plays Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, even confirmed she wrapped her scenes before the full shoot ended. With such a diverse mix of cast, locations, and production styles, it's clear Marvel went all out to give Thunderbolts its own identity while still keeping it connected to the broader MCU. First off, the Thunderbolts cast is stacked. Florence Pugh is back as Yelena Belova. Sebastian Stan returns as Bucky Barnes, still carrying a lifetime of trauma. David Harbour's Red Guardian brings the muscles. Wyatt Russell's US agent is likely still wrestling with his identity crisis. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina. She's clearly scheming something big, but the wild card in all this? Lewis Pullman, credited as Bob. Just Bob. Fans were instantly suspicious, and for good reason. Turns out, Bob might actually be Robert Reynolds, aka Sentry, one of Marvel's most powerful and unstable characters. Think Superman-level strength with a major catch. He's got an evil alter ego called the Void. And when that side takes over, things go seriously sideways. Pullman, for his part, is keeping things vague. In an interview with People, he admitted, "It happened so long ago, I don't really remember exactly." He added, "I'm not in the editing room, so it will be what it will be, and I can't wait to see it." So either he's under a major NDA lockdown, or Marvel's secrecy game is next level. More hints dropped at San Diego Comic-Con when Marvel revealed a teaser, and Valentina called Sentry stronger than all of the Avengers. That's a bold statement and also a big red flag. If he really is the Sentry, that means the Thunderbolts might not be fighting alongside him but trying to stop him. With the Void lurking under the surface, Bob could go from hero to world-ending threat real quick. Marvel's not spilling much, and that mystery is part of the hype. Who is Bob really? Will the Void take over? Is Pullman playing both roles? Or will the dark side show up another way? Bob is the MCU's biggest mystery, and honestly, we're here for it. One of the biggest talking points leading up to Thunderbolts hitting theaters is, without a doubt, Florence Pugh's insane skyscraper stunt. Yes, that wild moment you might have seen in the trailer. Yelena Belova stepping off a massive building? That's not some CGI trick or a stunt double. That was actually Florence Pugh doing the real thing. No green screen, no cheat shots, just Pugh. Some safety cables, and the second tallest building in the world. The building in question is Merdeka 118 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. It's 2,227 feet tall, only slightly shorter than the Burj Khalifa. And it's where this now famous stunt went down. In a behind-the-scenes video Marvel dropped during CinemaCon, we get a look at the setup. You see Florence at the top of this absolutely towering skyscraper, fully harnessed, taking a few steps and just stepping off. It's more of a controlled dangle than a full-on leap, but still, it's incredibly gutsy. And yes, it looks terrifying. Florence was all in from the very beginning. "I love heights," she says in the video. "I've been excited about this since I read the first page of the script." She was so committed to doing the stunt herself that she even had to fight for it. In an interview with Variety, she recalled how Marvel and Disney were initially hesitant, understandably, because the insurance and safety risks were no joke. As we got closer and closer to shooting, they said they don't think it's going to happen because it's a crazy insurance ordeal, she said. I was like, what? Of course we are. We have to do that. She joked about being a sassy Karen when she kept pushing the issue, refusing to let it go. Eventually, Marvel gave in. As she tells it, they're like, "Okay, if you want to fall off the second tallest building, we'll figure it out for you." Director Jake Schreier backed her up and explained that it was Pugh's enthusiasm and trust in the stunt team that made it all possible. Disney's health and safety team had every reason to say no, but Pugh's confidence tipped the scales. And in the end, the whole thing went off without a hitch. Sebastian Stan, who plays Bucky Barnes, even mentioned that many of the Thunderbolts cast members did their own stunts, But Pugh's skyscraper drop was easily one of the most impressive and ambitious of them all. One of the biggest things setting Thunderbolts apart from the usual Marvel fare is how good it looks. Seriously, this movie is visually striking in a way that feels fresh for the MCU. A lot of the credit goes to cinematographer Andrew Draws Palermo, who previously worked on Moon Knight. His style is moody, atmospheric, character-driven, and it fits this film perfectly. Palermo shot Thunderbolts using IMAX cameras, and you can really feel the difference. For IMAX viewers, the film will show in a taller 1.901 aspect ratio, giving big action scenes, and even the quieter ones, a much more immersive feel. For regular theaters, it'll use the more standard widescreen 2.39.1. But no matter where you watch it, the visuals are a step up from the typical MCU look. And then there's the color grading. It's subtle, but super effective. This isn't the usual flat Marvel palette. Thunderbolts actually pops. Think about that shot from the trailer. Bucky aiming his weapon against a vivid, almost painterly sky. That kind of rich color work is all over the film, and it helps give everything a more grounded, cinematic vibe. Tom Poole, a top-tier colorist known for high-end film work, was brought in to polish things up. You can really tell, all in all, it looks like Thunderbolts is trying to be more than just another superhero team-up. The visuals alone show that Marvel is letting its filmmakers push boundaries a little more. And with Palermo behind the lens, it might just end up being one of the best-looking MCU films in years. Thunderbolts is taking a bit of a left turn, and in a good way. Instead of leaning heavily on the CGI spectacle that's become standard in the MCU, this movie is going more old school, with a focus on practical effects and real stunts. It's kind of a refreshing change, especially after years of over-the-top digital battles and space explosions. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who plays Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, recently talked about this shift. According to her, the production felt really methodical, but not in a bad way. She said Marvel is trying to get back to their roots and focus more on the human side of the story. Apparently, they're doing everything they can to minimize CGI and keep things grounded. So yeah, that means more stunts, more physical sets, and way fewer green screens. Sounds exciting. Sebastian Stan also chimed in, saying that when a truck explodes in Thunderbolts, it's a real explosion, not just some CGI magic. He thinks that kind of authenticity makes a big difference, and honestly, he's probably right. The great thing about Thunderbolts is that the characters are already more grounded than the usual Avengers lineup. You've got characters like US Agent, Red Guardian, and Bucky, who aren't flying around shooting lasers from their hands. That makes the shift to practical effects even more fitting. It plays into the gritty, boots-on-the-ground vibe of the story. Marvel's clearly been listening to the feedback about its heavy use of CGI, and the stress it's caused for VFX teams. Now, they seem to be making a real effort to change things up, focusing more on story and character than flashy effects. If it works, it could set a new tone for the MCU going forward. Thunderbolts seems to mark Marvel's return to its roots. It might just be the start of a new direction for the MCU. We can't wait to see what's next. Thanks for watching. See you next time.